Hey, what's up? It's DFS Rico coming at you with my picks and insight for this League of Legends LPL and LCK 4-game slate on Friday, July 17th. I know I haven't been around for the last couple days. Been busy over there on the Patreon trying to get things ready for the baseball season and all that other sports. So far, it's looking good. But yeah, man, we've been winning some money over there on the Patreon, so it's been looking super solid. I've been having some good success. Get over there to that Patreon. Make sure you sign up. $10 a month for even all the other sports for now. Depending how many more people I get, I might have to bump the price up eventually, but that's not something I'm looking at right now. But for $10, I'll be talking about League of Legends for now, and then baseball, basketball, and then hopefully football. Those are like the 4 sports I'm really comfortable in, so those are the only ones I really like to give insight in. I don't mind talking about other sports while we're in the Discord and everything, or if you want to message me, because I do play the other sports, but I will be having just content for most of the time. Those, usually the bigger slates, I try to keep my content for those as well, so it just depends. I mean, it's going to be very busy, so I'll have to figure it out how to balance it. But yeah, before I get started, make sure you like, comment, subscribe this if you haven't. I put out a video every single day on the Patreon. I'm going to start doing a video a lot on here. I've been sick as well the last couple weeks, honestly, so now I'm feeling a lot better. I'm going to be able to give you guys that content that you guys want. But yeah, so let's get to it. First thing I like to do, go over to the Bavad. I look up the Vegas odds. We got Rogue Warriors, heavy underdogs under Fun Plus Phoenix. Fun Plus Phoenix is looking like the highest owned team on the slate right now. I looked up ownership, and they are the highest owned team. So if you are going to play Fun Plus, I get it. I mean, they're in a big matchup, in a favorable matchup. So I don't mind playing them, having some ownership on them. And then we got Edward Gaming versus LGD Gaming in a pretty tight matchup. That's the matchup that I think will decide GPPs and bigger contests. I think whoever wins that matchup, if you have them on your lineup, whether it's 2 guys or 1 guy, it's going to be crucial, I think, because the only way you're fitting in Fun Plus Phoenix on this slate is if you're playing guys from Edward Gaming or LGD Gaming, it looks like, which I'll get into right now. Got the LCK one loading. Dragon X being the biggest favorites on the slate versus HLE. They actually have less ownership than FPX, so just keep that in mind. I know they're the biggest favorites, but the reason they have less ownership is because of the matchup that FPX and Rogue Warriors bring to the table. They are a bloody matchup. I think they're predicted to get like 27 kills per game. That's a lot. Dragon X Hand with Life is like 23, so it's a lot less kills over 2 games. You know, it adds up. If you go to 3 games, it adds up. So just be very careful with that. But Dragon X, I don't mind them. I think they're a safe play. They have some of the guys have decent upside on that game, so I will look at some of the players. I won't avoid them. But if you want to be different, I would recommend playing Dragon X over FPX. They are cheaper as well. And then you got a Freak of Freaks versus Damwon Gaming. Damwon Gaming is one of my favorite plays on the slate, which is probably the team I'm going to talk about in the video, just because I want to be different. I do play a little bit of cash, so I will tell you, like, if you're playing cash, this is all I'm going to point out. Play FPX or Dragon X. I think they're the safer place for cash. If you start expanding yourself to bigger contests, I will like looking at some ownership for Damwon Gaming for sure, which is why I'm looking at them for sure. All right, so going through starting lineups, EDG still bouncing around their top laner, and then jungler Junjaya and Jai are usually bouncing around, so just be careful with that. The rest of the lineups pretty similar for them. And then Rogue Warriors been starting Wooming the last 2 matches, have looked very solid in 2 very easy matchups in my opinion. So you got that, not very easy, but one was easy, one was very easy. And then you got FPX, like I mentioned, they are the biggest favorites, not the biggest favorites, but they are gaining the highest ownership on the slate. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, if you are going to be looking at a Rogue Warriors or FPX, just some stats, some stats that I was looking at. 13.7 kills per game and 12.6 deaths per game for FPX on average. Rogue Warriors, 13.2 kills and 17.5 deaths. If I am focusing anyone from either of these teams, I do prefer doing B for FPX over LWX. I do prefer Zwuji over Wooming, only to be different because Wooming is in a tough matchup versus doing B, and I think people will bounce over to him just because of the fact that he's been killing it his last 2 matches, right? He's been like 98, 96, and 104 fantasy points. So I can see people going his way. Wuji hasn't killed it as crazy, but I prefer the FPX side. If I can only play one team tonight, I would prefer FPX over any team, but we'll see how that goes. I don't really want to get into it. My picks are going to be based off of Damwon Gaming. So just like I said, if you're playing cash, smaller entry, FPX, boom, way to go. I like to play bigger contests and like 3 max and stuff, and I like to be a little different. So I will mix in FPX, but the team I'm really focusing on is DWG. Depending on who you're pairing these guys up, like FPX, to really fit them in a GPP, you will have to pair them up with like EDG or LGD, which I don't think their match brings that much upside in that match. So I feel like you'll be as good as FPX might be able to play in that matchup. You won't get enough points, I think, from EDG and LGD. But who knows? I might be wrong, but could turn into a bloodbath. But both of those teams aren't that aggressive. But let's get back over to DWG. DWG coming in averaging 16.1 kills, the highest on the slate, and 9.2 deaths per game, lowest on the slate. Freak of Freaks, 11.3 kills and 10.7 deaths. They are actually the second lowest deaths on the slate, so just be wary of that. This match can get paced down, but they did play a couple weeks ago. Damwon Gaming did play a Freak of Freaks. They 2-0'd them. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, they're going to 2-0 them again, but the thing with the Freak of Freaks, they've been struggling versus good team. If you look over their match history, they just got 2-0'd by Gen G, they got 2-0'd by Damwon, and they got 2-1 by T1, and they got 2-0'd by DRX. All the top 4 teams in the LPL, top 3, have beat them, or 4, have beat them. They've only won 1 game. They've only won 1 game in any of those matchups, which is kind of scary just because, I mean, they're trying to compete to be one of the best teams in the LCK. They're like the 5th seed right now, and they're struggling against the best teams, and you really see the big gap when they play each other. So if I am focusing anybody, it starts with Showmaker. I like Showmaker in the captain spot. Depending which way you decide to go, it's easy to get him in there. That just depends how you decide to fill out your lineups, which I do talk about in the Patreon. But I like Showmaker over Ghost. I always will prefer Showmaker over Ghost. I think he's the better carry. He's the best player on the team. 9.6 kills per match, 15.7 assists. He's only dying 2 times per match, which is just insane. And in that last matchup they played against the Freak of Freaks, he went out there, put up 96 fantasy points, pairing him up with Canyon, which Canyon actually got player of the game in both games. Practically 97 fantasy points, 5 kills per game, 18.2 assists, only dying 3.7 times per match, which is really, really good. I was looking at the stats. Damwon Gaming is better at every aspect of the game. First tower, first blood, dragon control, jungle CS, everything across the board. And team stats, Damwon Gaming is just better than them. And I really like them because I think they bring the same upside as FPX. If they drop a game, it will be kind of scary. Freak of Freaks isn't a bad team, so that's why I think the DWG ownership is a little lower, because the Freak of Freaks is probably they're the best opponent on the map, on the slate. Every other team is playing like an inferior team. They're all in good matchups. DRX, FPX. I like LGD and EDG. I'm gonna toss up between them, but they're both even teams. And then Freak of Freaks, I think, is better than both of those teams, so that's why I think DWG is a little tougher pick. But I'll take my chances with them. I like them too. I like pairing them with Naguri and Burial. I like starting my lineups like that. I built a couple lineups with something like looking like this and just filling it in with like a 2-1. Or if you just want to do a 3-man player, you will have to probably bounce down Showmaker, depending who you pair them up with. If you pair them up with EDG or LGD, it's pretty easy to do that. But depending on how different you want to be, 4-2-1s or 4-3s, it just depends on yourself. But like I said, I do like DWG just because I think they'll have some leverage and they have the similar upside as FPX. I'm hoping that FPX and Rogue Warriors goes high owned and doesn't perform as well as everybody thinks it is, but I could be wrong. Like I said, if you're playing multiple lineups, play some DWG, play some FPX. If you're playing just 1 or 2 lineups, probably just stick to FPX and build from there. Fill your lineup up from there. Like I said, if I am playing anyone from FPX, I do prefer doing B, and then I like pairing them up with Tion or Khan for sure. I like LWX as well, but he is pretty pricey at 8.2, and it's kind of rough to fit in both of the LWX and Duo and B. And I usually like to take one main carry if I could only pick one from a team, I would have picked DoNB from that team. So, yeah. But just like I mentioned, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully these picks work out good for you guys. Make sure you listen to the whole video so you know why I'm picking